Greetings, my brothers and sisters, Israelites, adopted, heirs, joint heirs, scattered, all of that good stuff. Just tapping in to say hello. I hope that everybody is well. I'm just waiting. I see some people coming inside right now, checking in. That's all I'm doing. I'm just checking in. I'm just waiting for a few of you more to get here. I hope all is well. Just waiting there. Hello, hello. I see some of you all checking in. I see another person just checked in. I'm just checking in just to say hello. I'm just waiting for a few more people to come inside the room. Greetings there. That's Evelyn. How you doing, Evelyn? I see you coming in. Okay. I don't see who else we have here. Okay. Evelyn, I hope things are going well. I think you're up in New Jersey. Hope things are going well up there for you. I'm looking forward to bringing the Great Gathered Hebrew Conference to your city. I'm looking forward to that. So after we get finished with Philadelphia, we're going to talk to you and see what we can do about that for maybe April, May. Hi, Florence. How are you? Evelyn, you are in New Jersey, right? I'm talking to the right Evelyn. I think you're in New Jersey, if I can recall correctly. Yes, you're in. Okay, great. So I was just checking in to say hello. I got a couple of things to go on. You all know that when I get excited about something, I jump online and I share it with you. I'm saying just hello because I just left doing some work and studying and all of that good stuff regarding the conference coming up in Philadelphia. I do consulting, so things are going well with that today as well. The Most High is good. We had a great time yesterday in our service and in our feast. We had a good service, and then we also chimed in. The congregation and I, we went live to tune in to Pastor Bowie. He did a wonderful lesson yesterday. Man, it was wonderful. It was so good that next week I'm actually supposed to be going to Chicago, but the airline tickets were supposed to come down. It's supposed to have been $60 one way and $60. I think 70 one way and 70 back. So I was looking forward to going up there next week. However, we have some new families that have come in, and so I've made the decision not to go, but I made the decision to tune in live. So we're going to have our service in the morning time. We're going to eat lunch, and then we're going to come back and tune in to hear the message on the 8th day feast at the Israel of God. Now let me share with you what's going on. Okay, so this is what I'm really excited about. Remember, in these conferences, I want to bring academic information as to who we are. And the reason why I want to bring academic information, because people that I know that I have taken on this walk of life and coming into the knowledge of who we are, they are Bible scholars. They are church leaders. And they told me, I'm going to wipe my screen to make sure it's okay. So they told me, listen, get me outside information that will corroborate what you're saying. So I've been going through all of this other stuff to get information. I've got books that cost $58,000. I got books that cost $30,000. I did an interview with a brother in Atlanta. I'm going to post that interview that he and I did sometimes over the next couple of days. He has done very well in collaborating with me to help me get outside scholastic information, or what we call academic information outside of the Bible, that are well respected references that will indicate that who the people are. So that's important. How you doing, J. Rob? It's important. But now I can't I wanted inside Israel information. I came across a book and an interview of that book, and it's called The General's Son. There is a Israeli, or a person that is of citizenship in Israel now. His name is Miko Palid. I'm gonna do like a 5-10 minute segment on him within the next week and the book. But in the book, he indicated he is the grandson of one of the individuals who back in the day when Israel became a nation or a state, his grandfather actually signed the legislation or the Constitution to make Israel a state. His father was a general in the Israeli army, and that's why he named the book The General's Son. He indicated in the book that there were a lot of truths that had to be brought to light. Number one, it was not their land, and that they came from the Ukraine. They are descendants of the Ukraine, near, Ukraine, near Russia and Poland and all like that. And a lot of those people that came out of there, they are descendants from there. They came into Israel, which was occupied, but they had led the world to believe that it was not occupied, and therefore this is why there's this rift between Palestine and Israel, because a lot of the Palestinians who were actually living in the territory of Israel were pushed out. And it's because the land was sort of like at the wrong left. I mean, there was a lot going on, and I'll get into that. That's a whole different other history book. But basically, he's just confirming that they are not the original people of Israel. He indicates that. Now, again, this is big because he is the grandson of one of the founding fathers of the state of Israel back in 1948, and his father was a general. He was also in the Israeli military, but his father went through the ranks and became a renowned general. So what inspired him to write this book called The General's Son was that his niece was killed by a suicide bomber. His sister, the mother of his niece, or the mother of the child, basically they realized this has got to stop. We're killing them, they're killing us. They don't have the weaponry, so they do suicide bombs. So they really decided, let's talk about this. Let's see what we can do, and let's stop this in the name of her daughter that was killed by a suicide bomber. Henceforth, the uncle, which is the general's son, Miko Palid, he wrote a book talking about Israel and what really went on, and that the history books in Israel are not quite telling the truth. So, and we know that even history in America, nobody wants to talk about who are the real people of the book, especially when somebody's occupying the land as if they are Israel. Of course, they are the people of the book through perception. And over time, if you keep telling the same story over and over, and if you're putting it in books, and these are the books that people are reading because you control the press, then that's what people will start to believe. You can only teach what's in the book. You can only teach the information that's in the book. A lot of teachers don't verify the book. So basically, it's almost like they say Christopher Columbus discovered America. No, true history is people were already here. You can't discover something wherein there were already people here. So later on, the truth comes out. There was a guy on, I believe he was either on Fox, the Fox network, David Beck. And he did a story. I have that video. I have that news clip. But he talked about history that is not in the history books. And he did a segment on why is this stuff not in the history books. For instance, the individuals that were very relevant in the Civil War or in the war with George Washington. He showed a picture of a black guy on a boat leading in front of the helm of the boat. And he knew the name of that guy. And I'm not going to get into American history, but he says, how come this guy is not in the book? How come there were double spies who were African American, Hebrews, who helped because they worked as double spies to help get America where it's at? It's in government documents, it's in the Library of Congress, but how come it's not in history books? How come it's not being taught in schools? And he wanted to know. And he brought in some white historians and they talked about it. And it was very good. So that's a show on Fox. You can Google it. You can go on YouTube and just put in David Beck, U.S. history, and then it will come up. That's David Beck, U.S. history. And that clip will come up. So, and I bring that out as a reference to show you there is black history that is documented in the Library of Congress and the archives of our government relevant to national security, but that history is not in the books. So, sort of to say, this guy, Miko Palid, is saying, wait a minute, this is what really happened as to why Israel became a state. So this is the type of information when I do the Great Gathering Hebrew conferences that I'm going to be bringing to the table. I'm going to be bringing the who, what, when, where, why, and how, and where you can find it for yourself. All of this information is going to come in one conference. The Bible, scriptures as to who we are, a lot of people use that all the time, but I'm going to use it 30% of the presentation. But the other 70% is going to come from these other angles. So I'm excited because I did some more stuff and research, and it's like, wow. I'm not a conspiracy theorist by no means at all. However, a lot of people get upset because, oh, why are they doing this? Why did this happen? At the end of the day, and I want you to hear me good on this, at the end of the day, this goes back to Israel being disobedient. That's what this goes back to. So many people and so many of the Hebrew camps out there, they concentrate on who did this, you lied to us, you beat us, you whipped us, you put us into slavery. So many people concentrate on that instead of the real issue. And the real issue is that our fathers in the Bible broke covenant with the Most High. That is the whole bottom line right there. You can't blame anybody. You got to take away the blame. We need to return back to our covenant agreement with the Most High and realize that this plan to salvation is for the entire world. It is. Israel is a component. Israel is God's chosen people whom he elected to enter into a covenant agreement with. Nobody can take that away. Nobody. There is an inherent prophetic word for Israel. There's also an inherent prophetic word for all of the sons and daughters of Noah. So it's important. Somebody says, I am praying for you and our people. Thank you so much. So it's really important. I got Anita. Hello, my brother. When the blinders are off, the light shows up in every way. We have to be obedient. That's what it comes. That's what it really comes down to. We need to quit displacing blame. We need to quit displacing anger. Once our eyes come open, you cannot be mad because you've been lied to. You cannot be mad because you've been scattered. You cannot be mad because somebody took or is assuming the identity and ignoring who you are. This was prophecy. This is prophecy. So that's how you have to look at this and not be angry and upset. So it almost makes you afraid to say that you're a Hebrew Israelite, because a lot of these camps, and I'm not going to talk about them. I'm just going to say that they're misguided, okay? And when you are at when you come in the truth, let me say this. When you come in the truth and the knowledge, and you don't change the perspective of where you are, then you are receiving the truth under that perspective. And let me just say this. Let's say, for instance, that you are a person that, if that's the type of person that you are, and if you don't change that coming into the truth, then you're going to process the truth under the same auspice of blaming, not taking responsibility, and being angry. So you've actually put the truth in the wrong hands of the individual. But we also, this is why we have to teach people salvation at the same time of receiving knowledge, wisdom, and understanding of the truth. Because if you don't, you're going to be given the information of truth and knowledge to a person that's angry, because they've always been angry. They've always had, if you got that gang mentality, you're going to come into the truth with a gang mentality perspective of it's us against you. You follow me what I'm saying? So the reason why that we're doing this conference is to reach people who don't want to deal with that nonsense. You follow me what I'm saying? So when you come into the knowledge of the truth, and when I give you this information, I'm also going to be teaching you that the issue was us. It's not the belt, it's us. So this is one of the things that we have to do when we come into the truth. We need to change simultaneously who we are. We need Jesus. So when you come into the truth, you need Jesus. If you want to call him Yahshua, that's fine. As long as we talk about the Son of God, I'm not going to get into what you call him. But I'm not, that's a bigger thing at a bigger level. My point is that I want you to understand is that when you come into the truth, simultaneously, you need to change yourself. If you are angry with women coming into this truth, then you're going to come in and use this truth as another vehicle to go against women. If you are angry with white America, then you're going to come into this truth, and this is just another vehicle for you to fuel your anger against white America. When you know why we are under this issue, and the Almighty said, when you return to me, I will return unto you. Some of these camps are angry and racist in hearts. My heart to hear them attack people. Yeah, it hurts. Yes, it hurts. It does, Evelyn. It hurts. And it just, when you see it and you say, wow, I'm Israel. So now when you go back and tell your family that, hey, I came into the knowledge of who we are. And even if there are some of you that are listening that say, well, I'm white, but I like the truth, right? So the issue is, the moment you start to become Israel and keep Sabbath and feast days and eating clean, now your family is going to look at you two sides because they're going to associate you with one of the angry camps. You follow me what I'm saying? So we got a lot of work to do. That's basically, we have a lot of work to do. So the Great Gathering Hebrew Conference, can't cover it all in one conference. It's going to take some time. But the conferences are designed to educate and inform and keep us aware, also on a personal level, to remind us we got to deal with this interman. We got to deal with this tabernacle. This is what the Feast of Tabernacles is all about. We're in right now, and this is the week of Feast of Tabernacles. We got to understand that we are a tabernacle, and this tabernacle is temporary. But if we intend to take on another tabernacle, the spiritual tabernacle, it's not going to get corrected until we deal with this. Got to deal with this right here, okay? Because everything that we do starts in the mind. We think it before we do it. We can deal with the anger right here, okay? So, it's a beautiful thing when you know who you are, because I do walk, and my whole perception on life is different now that I know I'm Israel. It really does. I can't really explain it, but it just does. Now that I know who I am and why I'm in this predicament, I say, wow, wow, wow. And let me tell you this. If you change you and change the things that's within your gates, none of these curses will affect you. None of these curses will affect you. Because remember, the Most High says, whom I have blessed, nobody is going to be able to curse. That's the truth. You can take that to the bank. But he also says, whom I have cursed, nobody can bless. And then he also told Moses, the prophet, to tell the children of Israel, I know y'all not going to do right. Read the 4th chapter of Deuteronomy. He says, when you tell your children and your children and your children's children about this law, you will not do right. And you will be scattered. He told them that in the 4th chapter of Deuteronomy. But then he says, when you have been scattered, if wherever you are, you turn to the Most High. Now that becomes individual, because now we're no longer a nation, this is individual. If you return back to the Most High, then he will return back to us wherever we are. And I'm a living witness. I see things that I touch, it just opens up. I see places that I walk, doors are just opening. Do I have struggles, trials, and tribulations? Absolutely. I'm always going to. We always are going to have to, and because we're going to always be dealing with tests to see where we are with the Most High. Proof and point. In the book of Judges, God said he left 5 nations to prove Israel, to test Israel, whether or not they would listen to him or not. He left 5 nations, and he gave them instructions not to marry into their nations, don't go over and take on their gods. What did Israel do? They failed the test. I believe you can read that. I want to say Judges, the 3rd or 4th chapter. I'm trying to take you to that story in case you just want to do a quick look on it. But just start reading the book of Judges and you'll see the story I'm telling you about. Because when I'm talking like this and talking scriptures, I'm freelancing and I don't have the exact point in reference here. But mainly, hi Dante, how you doing? Yes, we got a lot of work to do. So basically, read that story. And I say that because in today, the Almighty's going to test us. He's going to test me. He's going to test me before the blessing comes. I want to see if he's ready for the blessing. Okay? Some people cannot get $1 million. Now, I hate to use money as an example but I want to use it because we can relate to it. Why would the Almighty give you $1,000,000 when this ain't right here? You understand what I'm saying? Because what's going to happen is you're going to receive $1,000,000 in the state of mind that you are right here. So what are you going to do? You're going to do in the state of mind what's right in here. But if your mind is on kingdom building, if your mind and heart is set on educating and waking people up and bringing people into the knowledge of the truth, and that's where your heart is set, and can't anything change you, and you pass the test that the Almighty has put before you, then he can do it. Now I can put this in good hands because I know they're going to do the right thing with it. So I just wanted to leave that with you. Thank you all for listening, tuning in. I just wanted to share that in form of an update as to what we're doing and what's going on. I like to check in. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for being a part of this channel. Please share. Please do what you can to spread this channel. I really, really appreciate it. How you doing, Tobia? Florence, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank all of you. I see quite a few of us tuned in here. Thank you very much. So I just wanted to do that. Evelyn, I want to come to New Jersey. I got one more other location after the Philadelphia conference. And Philadelphia is the first one, so you know it's going to be powerful. But let's start communicating because I want to set some groundwork to start to prepare to come to New Jersey, perhaps in the month of April of next year. Okay. Thank you, Florence. Thank you, Evelyn. Thank you, J. Rob. Thank you, Tobiah, Florence, Dante, Anita. The name goes on and on and on and on. Thank you all. Thank you for tuning in. We'll talk soon. Be blessed.